Okay, let's get into one of the most incredible business comeback stories you'll ever hear. It's a tale of how one of the world's most beloved brands, Lego, nearly collapsed and then rebuilt itself, brick by brick, into an absolute powerhouse.
So, you have to understand just how bad things got. By the early 2000s, the company was bleeding cash. We're talking about losing $1 million a day. They were buried under $800 million of debt, and were seriously teetering on the edge of complete bankruptcy.
And look, this wasn't just some scary headline in a newspaper. This was the cold, hard reality delivered by the new CEO, Jürgen Vig Knutstorp, the guy who was brought in to save the company. He basically told his team, "We are on a burning platform," making it crystal clear that if they didn't change and change radically, Lego was finished.
So, the big question is, how on earth did it get to this point? I mean, think about it. This is a company that, from its founding all the way up until 1998, had never once posted a loss. What went so horribly wrong?
Well, it was a perfect storm, really. A classic case of a super successful brand just completely losing its way. They started chasing every trend, launching things like Lego-branded clothing and jewelry. They diversified into these really expensive theme parks that just drained cash. And in doing all that, they lost sight of what made them special in the first place, and they totally alienated the kids and parents who had made them a success.
This slide right here, this is where it gets nuts. This really shows you the operational nightmare they'd created. Look at these numbers. Over 13,000 unique individual Lego parts, and more than 11,000 suppliers. To give you some perspective, that is way more suppliers than Boeing uses to build a jumbo jet. This complexity was just a massive, hidden cost that wasn't creating any real value for anyone.
Okay, so the turnaround officially kicks off in 2004. And instead of looking for the next shiny new thing, the new leadership team started by asking a really simple, but honestly a profound question.
And you know what the answer was? It wasn't complicated sets or branded watches. It was the simple joy of the brick. That open-ended creativity, the imagination, the pure possibility of it all. That was the magic they had to get back to.
Now here's the key insight, and it's a game changer. Their path to growth actually required subtraction, not addition. They were absolutely ruthless about getting focused. They took a giant pair of scissors to that mountain of complexity, cutting the number of unique brick types in half. They slashed the product line and sold off the Legoland parks to pour every single resource back into what mattered, making a great toy.
And well, the results kind of speak for themselves, don't they? You don't need to be an accountant to see the story in this chart. Revenue more than doubles between 2006 and 2010, and just look at that net profit. It nearly triples in that same window. Their whole less is more strategy was clearly working, and man, was it working fast. But you know, fixing the product line was only half the battle. The CEO said the supply chain is a company's circulation system, and Legos was basically having a heart attack. To get the blood flowing again, they had to perform major surgery on their entire operation.
And this slide breaks down exactly how they performed that surgery. They tackled it in 4 key steps. First, strategic sourcing. They just slashed that massive supplier list by 80%. This wasn't just about cutting cost, it was about building stronger partnerships. Second, cost transparency. They actually made designers understand the financial impact of every new brick. Suddenly, creativity had to be balanced with profitability. Then came production and distribution overhauls, all designed to make the entire system leaner, faster, and smarter.
So, with the business stabilized, Lego was ready to unlock what would become its ultimate competitive advantage. And it wasn't a new technology or a new factory. It was the millions of passionate fans they had all over the world.
For years, the company had pretty much ignored its adult fans, and they certainly hadn't invited them to be part of the creative process. The turnaround team completely flipped that script by asking this one powerful question.
And they didn't just ask the question, they built their whole strategy around the answer. They embraced the adult fans of Lego, the AFOLs, as a key market. They launched Lego Ideas, a crowdsourcing platform that's produced some of their biggest hits. And get this, when fans hacked their Mindstorms robot, instead of sending lawyers, they sent a developer's kit. It was just this massive shift from a closed-off corporate mindset to an open, community-driven one.
So, when you look back at this incredible journey, from the brink of failure to total global domination, what are the key lessons? What's the blueprint that any business can learn from?
The first 3 lessons are all about looking inward, about getting your own house in order. First, know who you are. Lego found its soul again in the simple creative power of the brick. Second, be absolutely ruthless about cutting complexity that doesn't add value.
And third, listen to the customers who made you successful in the first place.
And the final 3 lessons? They're all about looking outward. You have to adapt to new things like video games, but you gotta do it authentically. Build a whole ecosystem of experiences like movies and TV shows, not just a product. And maybe most importantly, embrace your community. Turn your customers into your most powerful allies. In the end, LEGO's turnaround is just this powerful reminder that the most successful brands don't just sell things, they create a sense of ownership, they build movements. They figured out how to honor their incredible history while building a clear, exciting vision for the future.
LEGO's story provides a pretty amazing answer to that question, doesn't it? It's a challenge for any company, or hey, even for any one of us. What amazing things become possible when you finally get back to what truly matters?